folks, how you doing? RussellTrueResults303.com. Check out the website. Mind, Body, Spirit, Fitness. Coming at you today with a video on, how to fight big corporations and things like that. So I don't know, mind, body, spirit, maybe more mind. Mind and body. We as a people are a body, right? The Christian aspects, we are all one in Christ's body and God's body. So we'll go with that. So how can we overcome the system, this corruption in the world, unfortunately, which there was a lot of? And so I've come up with a few ideas, and let's see where this goes, right? So first, food. When we're grocery shopping or going out to a restaurant, what can we do? So of course here in Colorado, the big ones are King Soopers, which I think is Kroger. And then of course now Walmart has a bunch of grocery stores where it's just only a grocery store now. So they're actually trying to corner the market like that here in Colorado. I don't know about anywhere else. But Walmart has just a grocery store only. And then of course there's super centers that have the clothes and the grocery stores. Target, Safeway, we have a little bit here. They're starting to close. So what can we do to kind of fight those big food chains? We can go for the smaller food chains. I don't know how large Sprouts is in any other area, but here Sprouts isn't that big. From my house, there's about 2 within a 10 to 15 minute drive, and then there's not that many. So, I'd say first we start with going to those smaller grocery chains like a Sprouts. I guess Whole Foods, that's expensive as heck though, all organic. I've heard bad things about it. I don't shop there. Next, what can you do? Summertime here in Colorado, some other places here in the U.S. or around the world might not have this luxury of a farmer's market. The unfortunate thing is I went to a farmer's market down the street just to try it the other day, and even there's still foods made in or produced in Mexico, shipped from Mexico. But I guess there it's right outside of a little farm, so it's actually that farm that grows some of the foods. But then, of course, if they can't provide those other foods that people want, people won't go there. So I guess that's why they have to have those other foods shipped in, at least so they can meet the demands of their customers. Nice little market though, nice little market. Next is just going to the farms and the ranches in general. Same thing with the farmers market-ish kind of. My family just went in on a half a cow a couple months ago, which was $1,200. They each paid $300, and then it came out to, they got 90 pounds of meat for $300 of beef. I think my cousin said when he did the math, I didn't do the math, sorry, it came out to like $2.50 a pound or something like that, which we all know beef, you ain't gonna get it $2.50 a pound. So as long as we're able to get multiple people in on a deal like that, I know you can do it with a pig, you can do it with all these other animals as well. So if you have some people that want to pitch in like that and go big right at the beginning, it's a good idea. You can try that. What made me think about this was there's a movie out there called Death by China, and a documentary, and they talked about how now we're importing everything from China when we used to be big, we should do everything here at home. Everything used to be made in America back in the day. Now we're just bringing everything in from other countries. And I liked an aspect I heard of this on talk radio when gas prices started going down. The guy said, well, if you think about it, the gas industry, employee-wise, here in the United States, might be 100,000 people, 150,000 people. He said, so I would rather see 150,000 people have to go on unemployment to see however many the population of the United States is. 300 million people have more money in their pocket. So that's kind of the downside. 300 million people have more money to spend, or 150 lose their job. And I guess you could say it's the same thing with, with exporting everything else out of the country, all the toys and the iron and everything else out of the country. It's the same thing. We kind of went with the mentality, well, if we ship all the jobs out of country, we can save money on labor and we can have things cheaper here in the United States. And in that case, we lost a buttload of jobs, right? A lot of people went without jobs. So, but the downfall is you can say, well, see, that's the same thing as the gas industry, but it's not, because now there's people over there making, now they got the sweatshops and these poor children are having to make our goods. So it kind of goes either way. For clothing, for me, my buddy makes fun of me because he says I don't dress well. I go for thrift stores. I like the thrift stores. That's keeping all the money in the community, or at least some of it for a good cause. We all know that it's probably really not a nonprofit or garage sales and things like that. I said, I like going to thrift stores. If you go to enough, you'll find that little diamond in the rough. Funny story was I was with my mom. We were at a birthday party, and that was when I went through a phase where I was just always dressing nice. I still try to dress nice at family functions. And my grandma told my mom that I must spend a lot of money on clothes because I always look so nice. And my mom started laughing, brought me over, and told me to tell my grandma how much I spent on my outfit. I was like, $17 or something like that. So it might not be that fancy where, the collars, different colors on each side. You've got these big knotty, beady buttons and pretty like that. But, the older generation thinks it's nice. It's not bad. I'm not embarrassed of it. So that's the way I like to go. Television-wise, what can we do? We can try and go Netflix or Hulu or something like that. That's still a big corporation. But better yet, how about we just read a book, right? Or we listen to the radio and we kind of stop. We're overly, I don't even know if that's a word, stimulated visually anyways every day. Try listening to some talk radio or something. That's something that I really have come to enjoy is talk radio. And, Netflix, like I said, is a difficult thing. But I think I just heard the other day that AT&T bought out DirecTV or Dish TV, one or the other. So, these corporations are just getting bigger and bigger. Now that I said it, I didn't come up with anything for phone calls. Next, I'm going to go for the gym. For me now, I'm experimenting on trying to find a place to work out. And I've come up with a rec center or a community center. Once again, this is leaving the money in our communities, help paying, giving people jobs. It could be going towards paying for roads, maybe the maintenance of parks and things like that. But at least the money is staying in your city versus giving it to these large corporations and these larger gyms, just putting the money directly in someone else's pocket. 24-Hour Fitness, True Fit, Planet Fitness. Now here we've got a U-Fit. We've got a Lifetime Fitness, right? At least Lifetime Fitness is private, like a private rec center. But once again, we're still putting large, all this money into a single person's pocket or a corporation's pocket. And for me, I think I'm going community center here in Thornton. There's the old community center, the old Thornton Rec Center, where if I want to go in there and use the gym, it's like 50 cents. Or I can buy a punch card that is 30 visits for $12.50, which comes out to 41 cents every time I want to step in the building. I'm trying to work out 3 days a week. That comes out to 2.5 months of exercise for $12.50. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not the nicest equipment. It's a little bit older, or they don't have all these fancy machines that I would never. I don't run on a treadmill at the gym anyway, so what do I need a treadmill for? I go run outside. I'll ride my bike. It's right down the street. I'll ride my bike there and then bike back. So I guess it just depends on how you want to look at it, what machines you're using. Of course, men and women, we should all be lifting weights. So if you're lifting weights, that's perfect. They have one treadmill there. And when I was walking through the facility and looking at it, I said, this is no different than if I opened my own gym. These are the main pieces of equipment I had. All the different bench presses, the cable machine, a squat rack, a Smith machine, dumbbells. They didn't have any of the fancier stuff, but it's getting the job done. Weight is weight. 25 pounds is 25 pounds. No matter if the plate is pretty and shiny or the plate is old and beat up a little bit. Bench press is a bench press, right? So next thing, what can we do with banks? I'm not a part of these large banks or these big corporations. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Too Big to Fail, I think is the name of it. Check it out. It's definitely a good movie and about how these banks can manipulate almost the entire world. So I'd say look into that. For me, I go with a credit union, and that's only because my mother got me the bank the bank account when I was 12 or something like that. So we're with Public Service. It's Xcel Energy. They are a big corporation, but that is what it is. I'm sure you can find a smaller credit union or something like that. So there it is, some of the basics that you can do to hopefully kind of fight back against the system. I know there's, they're in our face all the time. One I missed now that I think about it because I didn't have it up on my notes was food. When you're going out to eat, try one of these small diners, these family-owned diners, right? There's a place up here, I'll promote them. I've only ate there once though. It's further away from my house, called Three Chicks. It's just like a Village Inn. It's just like a Perkins. But how about that small family business? There's another one right by my house that I go to a lot called Jay's Diner. They're good people there. If I'm going out to eat, that's usually the place I'm going to go. It's right down the street. So I usually end up eating a lot alone because my friends don't live anywhere near and they don't want to drive this far. But there you go, folks. Just some small steps that we can do to fight back against the system and kind of try and put things back into our own hands. You know, they say the best way to vote is to vote with your dollar. So make sure that you're voting with that dollar and letting America know what we want. If we can kind of fight back against these larger corporations, they're the ones that, you know, are lobbying hard in, you know, up in Capitol Hill or wherever they call it, you know, up in Washington, D.C. They're the ones lobbying hard to get what they want, to manipulate the system. And we need to fight back as the people, come together as the people. So I hope this helps. Comment box, use it, start some conversation. What are some other great ways that we can fight back against the system? You know, I'm not too great at it. You know, these are just a few things that I've come up with. So I hope you guys engage in the comment box, and let's talk about ways that we can, as a people, come together and kind of get ourselves back. Once again, I hope this video helps. Subscribe to the channel, share and like these videos.